A name that turned the ocean tides black with fear. A face, not with eyes of fire, but with smoke rising from his skin. When he appeared, he didn't just rob ships, he robbed men of their sanity. They say he tied flames into his beard and death into his heart. He wasn't just a pirate, he was a brand of terror. And when his final battle came, even death paused to ask, how do you kill a man like this? This story has gold, betrayal, blood, and a ghost whose whisper still echoes through the waves. This is the legend of Blackbeard. It was a quiet morning off the coast of the Carolinas in 1717. The sea was calm, the sky a dull gray. A merchant ship bobbed gently on the water, its crew beginning their daily routine, when suddenly a lookout cried out from the crow's nest. On the horizon, a ship approached fast, unnaturally fast. Its black sails billowed like storm clouds, and from its mast flew a terrifying flag, a skeleton spearing a bleeding heart. Panic swept the deck. The merchant captain knew what that flag meant. It wasn't just a pirate, it was Blackbeard, and no one escaped Blackbeard. Before the name struck fear into sailors' hearts, before legends swirled around his devilish look and violent deeds, there was only a man, Edward Teach, or maybe it was Edward Thatch. Historians argue over the name to this day. What's clear is that he was born around 1680, possibly in Bristol, England. Not much is known about his early life. Like a ghost, Blackbeard appears in the historical record already dangerous, already deadly. He served as a privateer during the War of Spanish Succession, essentially a government-licensed pirate. But when the war ended, many privateers didn't retire. They just dropped the legal paperwork and kept the ships. Edward Teach was one of them. And when he entered the world of piracy, he didn't just join it, he dominated it. Blackbeard wasn't just violent, he was theatrical. He understood the power of fear. He grew his beard long, black, and bushy, twisting it into dreadlocks and tying slow-burning cannon fuses under his hat. When he went into battle, smoke would pour from his head like he was a demon risen from the sea. He carried 6 pistols strapped across his chest, 2 cutlasses, and multiple knives. Sailors who saw him described him as not quite human, and that was exactly the point. He didn't want to fight every ship he came across. He wanted them to surrender without a shot, and most of them did. Blackbeard's most famous ship wasn't always his. In 1717, he captured a massive French slave ship named La Concorde. He refitted it for war, loaded it with 40 cannons, and renamed it Queen Anne's Revenge. This ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a floating fortress. From its decks, Blackbeard terrorized the West Indies and the American coastline. He blockaded ports, captured dozens of ships, and carved out his own little kingdom in the chaos of the sea. At his peak, Blackbeard commanded a fleet of 4 ships and over 300 men. He wasn't a pirate, he was a warlord. In May 1718, Blackbeard committed one of his boldest and most outrageous acts. He sailed his fleet to Charleston, South Carolina, and blockaded the entire harbor. No ship could leave, none could enter. He captured 9 vessels and hundreds of hostages, including important citizens. But Blackbeard didn't ask for gold. He demanded medicine, specifically a chest full of mercury, used at the time to treat syphilis, though it was horribly toxic. Historians still debate whether Blackbeard needed it for his crew or for himself. Once the medicine was delivered, he released the hostages and vanished into the sea, leaving Charleston stunned and humiliated. No other pirate in history had done anything like it. After the siege, Blackbeard knew he was attracting too much attention. He deliberately ran the Queen Anne's Revenge aground near Beaufort, North Carolina, possibly on purpose to split from his growing crew. He then took a smaller ship and only a handful of loyal men sailing into the shadows. Then something strange happened. He surrendered. He sailed to the capital of North Carolina and accepted a pardon from Governor Charles Eden. In return, Blackbeard promised to retire, but old habits die hard. Within weeks, he was back at sea, attacking ships under the radar, some say with the governor's secret blessing. Rumors spread that Blackbeard had made a dark pact, not with the devil, but with corrupt officials. He had become more than a pirate. He was now a political threat. Back in Virginia, Governor Alexander Spotswood had had enough. Blackbeard was too dangerous, too unpredictable, and if the governor of North Carolina wouldn't stop him, he would. He sent 2 ships and a detachment of British Royal Navy sailors under Lieutenant Robert Maynard. Their mission hunt Blackbeard down, and kill him. It was November 1718. Blackbeard was anchored off Ocracoke Island. His crew was drunk, celebrating. Maynard's ships approached at dawn. Blackbeard didn't run. He waited. What happened next became legend. Maynard's ships were lighter and sat lower in the water. Blackbeard opened fire first, raking them with cannonballs. One of Maynard's ships was crippled immediately. Maynard ordered his men below deck, making it look like they had all died or fled. Blackbeard took the bait. He boarded Maynard's ship, expecting to find a wreck. But Maynard's men burst from below deck, swords and pistols drawn. The decks turned red with blood. In the chaos, Blackbeard fought like a demon. Witnesses say he took 5 gunshots and more than 20 sword wounds before finally falling. Even then, he tried to keep fighting. They cut off his head and hung it from the bowsprit of Maynard's ship. His body was thrown overboard, and some say it swam around the ship 3 times before sinking. Blackbeard was dead, but he became something more, a legend, a ghost, a symbol of fear on the sea. Stories sprang up that his treasure was buried somewhere in the Carolinas, guarded by spirits or cursed forever. Sailors claimed to see his ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge, sailing the horizon with no crew aboard. Others swore they saw a dark figure walking the beaches at night, headless, searching for something. Even today, people still search for his treasure, and many swear they still see Blackbeard in their dreams. Strip away the legend, and what do we find? A man who understood the power of fear better than any general. A pirate who didn't need to fight because he could win with reputation alone. Blackbeard only ruled for about 2 years, but in that short time, he changed the world of piracy forever. He wasn't the richest, he wasn't the most brutal, but he was the most terrifying. And sometimes that's all it takes to become immortal. Before we dive into the next chilling part of the story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps more than you know, and we've got plenty more historical legends coming up. If you enjoyed this tale of treachery and terror on the high seas, check out our other stories on legendary outlaws and forgotten empires. And remember, legends never die, they just sail into the mist.